what do you what do you make of the Otani contract? As a guy who once got a heck of a big contract yourself, I mean, it's the amount is just it's mind blowing. What's the advice to somebody who signs a deal that's worth, you know, three-quarters of $1 billion?
Man, well, you said mine was a big contract. I wouldn't say big compared to his.
It almost feels small, right?
It really does, And he's as a player, this guy is doing something that is unheard of. The way that
Yeah.
he's pitching one day, bouncing back the next day, DHing, hitting 40 homers a year. It's unbelievable. So, you mix that in with then the way he's going to be marketed out there in LA, how many people are going to be watching, how many people are going to be watching in Japan, all over the world. It's players like him that really, if people think baseball is kind of trending in the wrong direction, it's players like him that get it trending back in the right direction. So for me, I'm all about it. I think he deserves every penny, maybe even a little more, which is crazy to think of. But I'm going to be tuned in, and you guys are working with a super team out there in LA, so I
Yeah.
know everyone's going to be watching. That's for sure.
I know. It's too bad I'm a Yankee fan, but they're okay.
Hey, not a bad squad you guys are
No,
featuring
right?
this year
I
either.
know. Yeah, Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. I think it's
Oh
hard to
yeah.
have a better one two than that, right?
Oof.
Lastly, I see a lot of people are talking about these new uniforms. Have you, as obviously somebody who still knows a ton of the guys who are currently playing, is that something that the players are talking about? You hear a lot of guys not loving the new uniforms.
Yeah, these guys aren't going to love it right now. I mean, I've definitely seen all the chatter. I've seen
Yeah.
all that type of stuff. It's just for me, the lettering is so small on the last names, and as a player, you get the autograph guys, whether it's kids or autograph fans coming up and asking for jerseys for you to sign. And you see the game used jersey that just looks, beautiful, prestige and all
Yeah.
that. And then you'll see one that's kind of looks like it's a little bit of a knockoff and doesn't really look like it's officially game worn. And those have that look a little bit to them right now, but there's no doubt in my mind that they'll get it right before opening day, and those guys are going to be looking like big leaguers come April 1, whatever the first game is.
Who do you like? I know I said two more. Who do you like this year, Eric? They're a team that you, as we are about to get started here, that you like.
So obviously the easy team is to say LA, they're out there, they're the
Right.
super team and all that. Staying in the National League, man, the Braves,
Yeah.
they have a winning culture about them and they just find ways to do it. And, they get rid of a superstar in Freddie Freeman and, they just fill that gap in, not obviously to the level of what Freddie does for them on and off the field because he's a superstar, but man, these guys, their culture, everything they're about is winning. And it seems like every player, whether they're a big time player or a young guy, they go in there and buy in right away. So they just picked up Sale, who I think is one of the best big game pitchers in baseball. So I think that's a dangerous team in October to look out for. I'm definitely feeling it a little more. This is the time of year where I'd be heading out to Arizona and putting the cleats on, like you said. But, I'm going to miss being around those guys, being in the locker room and all that type of stuff. But definitely going to still try and stay connected to the game any way I can. So, this new chapter in my life is going to be exciting, and I'm excited to get it going.
Yeah, gonna hit on that in a second. Talk to me though first, Eric, about the decision. Obviously, still only 34 years old. I'm sure it certainly could go out there and play a few more seasons. What made you say now's the time to walk away?
Yeah, a lot went into it, obviously, a lot of thought. And I had a lot of time too. I got released from Chicago last year around the end of May, early June. So really took the rest of that season to just kind of, decompress after a crazy last couple years of, getting traded, moving from city to city. My wife Casey and I had our baby, Jack. So, that was a crazy, hectic time for us. And really just took that time to clear my head mentally and just kind of enjoy some downtime with the family. And then as we got closer to this year, just the way your body is and how you perform and how you prepare for games. You get a little older and your body just can't handle the same stuff as it used to. So I knew it was time for me to step away. And like I said on the first episode of Digging Deep, the podcast was. If I'm not playing 150 to 160 games a year, then I don't feel like I'm really bringing much value to the team. And last thing I want to do is clog up one of these valuable roster spots.
Does that mean, is there anything anyone could say that would change your mind that could possibly entice you, or are you pretty confident in this decision?
Very confident in this decision. The way the game is now, in all honesty, there's a third of the teams that are really trying to win the World Series, in my opinion. There's some of the teams that are kind of rebuilding, and I've been on both ends. I've been on the team that's trying to go all in and get those pieces to win, and I've been on teams that have been through a rebuild and trying to build throughout their young guys. So just knowing the situations, knowing the what the rosters all look like, it just made sense. And again, I feel like I want to stay connected. I want to stay involved in the game, and this new venture is gonna help with that. And it's really gonna help me reach to the youth, the young rookies, any type of player, any type of athlete.
And let's talk about that venture. Like we said, you're maybe retiring, not playing anymore, but doesn't mean that you're not going to keep busy, because you have launched MoonBall Media. It's a multi-platform, multimedia company, and like you said, you've got your own podcast, Digging Deep. What went into this? Not just saying, "Hey, I'm going to go do a podcast," but I want to start my own media company. And so, what are the plans for the future, Eric, as you go forward here now?
Yeah, so former teammate of mine, Anthony Seratelli, is my business partner in this, and Seton Hall guy. So
Oh
I'm
yeah, I
sure
went to
you
Seton
guys,
Hall, so
yeah, I'm sure you
like
guys
that.
cross paths at some point. He's always been super creative. He used to make, funny team videos and meetings to get everybody going, to keep it light throughout a long, grueling season. And his career ended in 2015, and he became um, he started working on the service side of the production and all this on the content world, and really decided that he wanted to own some of this content. So we teamed up, and I feel like I got a lot of cool stories to share. I've seen the game from a unique perspective, so we just want to bring this to light, and we want to help. We want to do whatever we can to reach the fans of baseball, the fans of sports. So we got all different type of things. We got the fast channels working, we got the long form docu series type deals, and then we're gonna have the Digging Deep podcast, which is something that I'm really gonna hone in on, and I'm excited to get it going.
Wow, so this sounds like it's even bigger than just the one podcast. Obviously, you're going to have different types of programming, and this is truly a multimedia company, it sounds.
Yeah, yeah. MoonBall Media is definitely that. And we're gonna just tell stories in every form, every way possible. We've got some exciting stuff that we're trying to lock up and seal up here for the long form type deals. I know we're working with Major League Wiffle Ball and a couple different fun sports for the fast side of that, and then Digging Deep. That's something that we've shot the first round of episodes here a couple weeks ago. We just released episode 1 yesterday. So that's something we're going to continue to do, and that's something that I'm really enjoying, and that I'm really going to enjoy not only doing the baseball world, but hopefully venturing out and getting some other big time people, whether it's out on the athletic side or on the business world side.
And tell me if I'm wrong here, Eric. It seems like you see a lot of retired NBA players and a lot of retired football players, and they have these big shows, and they're talking about the sport and giving that unique insight that they can provide as former players. It doesn't seem like baseball has really had that. I know there are some baseball channels out there, but it doesn't seem like baseball has a guy like you who was a star who has his own show. I mean, is that sort of the idea here, to tap into what other sports have done and reach kids too, right? That's what you always hear about baseball. Hey, it needs to be a little cooler. Is that the approach here?
Yeah, it definitely is. I think you hit it right on the head there. The other sports have adapted, and you see a lot of guys have these shows, podcasts, whatever you want to see, and it's so cool because I remember as a kid, I just wanted to see inside the locker room, what
Yeah.
goes on there, what goes on behind the scenes, and all that type of stuff. So I think that's something that baseball is adapting to now. I think as a baseball player, when you're brought up throughout the minor leagues, and even younger than that, you're taught to be very guarded. You don't want to cause any kind of attention towards the team in a negative way. So hopefully the guys will feel comfortable with me, and we can dig deep into some of their stories. And I know a lot of guys have experienced failure on their path to the big league. So hopefully it can inspire some of these young guys, whether they're, baseball or any type of sport or whatever they're trying to get into. And then at the same time, I feel like I have a unique perspective. I've been the young prospect, the young guy that's highly touted, and then I've been the old guy that's kind of been the 25th, 26th man on the roster. So I have a unique perspective, and I feel like I'll definitely be able to give the viewer and the fans kind of an inside look on what's going on. Obviously not being in the building, you're not gonna know all the details, but I can certainly kind of give them what the player's perspective is on whatever the situation is.